Okay, welcome everyone to Sunday morning yoga. If you'd like, you can take 2 blocks or 1 block or no blocks and sit on them in a supported hero's pose. Another option would just be to sit cross-legged. And what's nice is if you have like a blanket, if you prefer cross-legged, then you can sit on a blanket just to elevate the hips. But I find this supportive. So whatever feels most comfortable to you. And then I also do have a strap too. So if you wanted any kind of like a bathrobe tie or a belt would work. Necktie would also work. So good morning. My name's Micki, and we'll just start by tuning in to our breath. So you can go ahead and close your eyes, finding whatever comfortable seat is best for you. And just allow your shoulders to melt away from your ears. I'm just going to make sure really quickly that everyone's on mute. There we go. You might have a sense this morning that there is an intention for your practice. Something you'd like to cultivate, or even something you'd like to release. And just allow that intention to come to mind. Maybe it's a word or a phrase. And then start to let go of any mental thoughts, tuning into the breath. And sometimes thoughts might creep back in, your long to-do list, what to have for lunch, and what you're going to do with the rest of the day. You might think of it as like an exercise, just like lifting weights. How can you release the thoughts, acknowledge them, appreciate them, and let them go, tuning back into the present moment and your own body awareness? You might begin to offer yourself gratitude for showing up for yourself and your body this morning. Gratitude for the feet that brought you here, for all of the surroundings, all of the effort and energy that went into creating the space that you're in. Gratitude for the strong, healthy, perfect body. And with your next inhale, go ahead and float the shoulders up towards the ears, and exhale to bring them back and down. Inhale, rolling them up. And exhale, releasing them back down. And just tuning into the movement and then sensations. Keep going at the pace of your own breath. It might feel good to toggle one shoulder at a time. Feeling the stretch from the top of one shoulder all the way across the back to the bottom of the opposite shoulder blade. Allowing the breath to travel in the body to any areas of tension or holding. And then you can go ahead and reverse the direction of your toggle, bringing the shoulders up from behind, towards the ears and down around in front. And then you can go ahead and sync up the movement, bringing the shoulder blades together to kiss at the back of the spine, and then rolling them up towards the ears and down around in front. Inhale as you shrug the shoulders, and exhale as you release them back down. And then we'll come back to stillness and you can float the eyes open. Let's stretch the arms wide to the sides. And then you can go ahead and make a fist with the hands, pointing the knuckles forward. Just go ahead and rotate the knuckles up and down, finding a stretch through the back of the forearms, maybe a little rotation in the shoulders. And then we'll open the hands wide to the side. You can bring one thumb down, allow that hand to rotate behind you, allow it to press on your low back, and then you can bring the opposite hand overhead and gently draw the ear towards the shoulder. You don't need to force it, just allow the breath to cascade down the side of the neck. You might explore different movements here, maybe bringing the chin towards the shoulder, finding a stretch to the back of the neck, and then maybe rotate the chin up towards the ceiling. And just finding different areas of sensation. And then we'll bring the fingertips over to the side of the head, and bring it back up to center. Let's spread the palms wide again to the sides. We'll bring the fists forward and just gently rotate up and down. And then we'll stretch the fingers wide to the side, this time bringing the opposite thumb down towards the ground, sliding that hand onto the low back, and then bringing the ear towards the shoulder and just allowing the weight of the hand to gently stretch through the side of the neck. Allow the breath to cascade down the side of the neck like gentle waves of the ocean. And you might bring the chin towards the shoulder, finding a different sensation on the neck. And then maybe rotate the chin up towards the sky. And just take a moment to gently rotate that chin. And allow the breath to work out any areas of tension or holding. With your next inhale, you can bring the fingertips to the side of the temple and point the head back up towards the sky. We'll inhale to reach the arms up overhead, and then interlace the palms, stretch the palms up towards the sky. Now you can rotate to one side, releasing the hands down to find a twist, sending the gaze behind the shoulder. Take some nice, long, deep breaths here. And then we'll inhale to come back to center, floating the palms back up towards the sky. You might interlace them the awkward way or the opposite way this time. Pressing the palms up, lifting up, looking up. And then with your next exhale, you can rotate to the other side and release the hands down, looking behind the shoulder. Take some nice deep breaths here, and you might notice subtle variations from left to right. And then with your next inhale, we'll come back to center. And you can release the blocks if you're sitting on blocks. And we'll bring the blocks out in front and then come up onto the knees. Let's tuck the toes under. And you can sink the hips back, maybe walking the blocks back to support your weight. Find a stretch for the undersides of the feet. So your toes are tucked under. This is called broken toe pose. We're stretching to the undersides of the feet, sending breath all the way down to the feet. You might send gratitude along with the breath for the strong, healthy feet that brought you here. Maybe if you'd like to deepen the stretch, you could use the support of your blocks. I have them on the medium setting, and you might gently lift the knees And send the stretch to the back of the calves, the ankles. And when you're ready, you will lower the knees back down. You can walk the blocks out in front, untucking the toes. Give the feet a gentle tap. Now let's swing the feet around and we'll come into a cross-legged position. And here, let's inhale to reach the arms up overhead. We're going to find a side body stretch. So just bring one hand down to the mat and reach the opposite hand over. You might send the gaze up towards the fingers or maybe down towards the ground. Whatever feels best for your neck today. And we'll inhale to come back up and exhale to the other side. Pressing into the ground and reaching the top fingers. Maybe looking up or sending the gaze down towards the ground. And let's inhale to come back up to center, and one more time on each side. Inhale to sweep it back up, and exhale to lower. On your next inhale, we'll come back up to center and exhale to bring the hands to the heart center. You can gently bow your head towards the wisdom of your loving heart as you revisit the intention for your practice today. Go ahead and release the hands, and let's switch the cross of the legs. You can hold on to either the knees or maybe grasp the ankles, and we'll inhale to reach the heart forward like cow pose, and exhale to round it back for cat. Inhale for cow, and exhale for cat. Go ahead and take a few rounds at your own pace, exploring the sensations. And then once you're ready, we'll come back to center. And let's start to take a few circles in one direction. So you can bring your hands onto your knees and slide the chest around and back, allowing your heart to form a big circle. And then you can reverse the direction of that circle. And then we'll come back to stillness. And there's two ways you can get to hands and knees. So you can just slide your knees around, or what might feel nice is to come over the tops of the shins and then bring the knees behind you. So however you'd like to get here, we'll all arrive in hands and knees with the palms under the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips, and you can either tuck the toes under or keep the toes untucked. Let's take a few rounds of cat and cow here. So inhale to drop the belly, exhale to round the spine. You go ahead and take a few rounds at your own pace. You might notice how The movement feels slightly different on hands and knees than it did in a seated position. And we'll do those same torso circles, so starting to draw a big circle with the belly button. Taking it at your own pace, just exploring all of the sensations as they arise. Allowing yourself this time of compassion and curiosity as you marvel at the amazing design of the spine and all the different directions that it can move. And go ahead and reverse the direction of your circle when you're ready. Keeping a soft and steady breath. If you find any areas of particular interest or sensation, you might hold there for a breath. And we'll take one more round in this direction. And then you can come back to center. And we'll walk the knees a little wider than hips distance. And then go ahead and inhale the left fingertips up towards the sky. Opening the heart and opening the chest. And then on the next exhale, you can thread the needle under, coming onto the shoulder and allowing the temple to rest. You might continue to support your weight with your right hand, or you could walk your right fingertips out in front, or you might lift the right hand and bring it around to rest at the low back. And just inviting breath into the shoulder. Noticing where you can soften your effort. And with your next exhale, if your hand is resting on your low back, go ahead and allow it to slide down the back. And you can plant the palm underneath the shoulder, and then we'll press into the earth. Inhale to open up through the left side. On your next exhale, plant the left palm, and we'll open the right arm, lifting the heart and the gaze. And then on the next exhale, you can bring that hand to weave underneath the body. First, thread the needle, coming onto the shoulder, allowing the temple to rest. And finding whichever variation works best for you, maybe walking the fingertips out in front or spinning the left hand around and allowing it to rest at the low back. Allowing your breath to travel into the areas of tension. Releasing the tension with the exhale. And we'll take one more nice deep breath here. And with the next exhale, you can allow the left hand to slide back down, planting the palm underneath the shoulder. We'll inhale to reach the right arm open. And exhale to release that side. Let's go ahead and bring the knees back to center. You can walk the hands out a little bit in front, and then you can tuck the left toes under, pressing the heel back towards the mat to find a stretch through the back of the calf. If this is too much on the wrists, you could always come down onto the forearms and you get a similar sensation. Maybe give the wrists a little bit of a break. Imagine your breath like the wave of an ocean cascading down the back of the leg, stretching through the back of the calf. Now we'll go ahead and switch sides, extending the right leg back, bringing the left knee back underneath the body. And with the toes tucked under, you're pressing the heel back towards the mat, find length through the back of the calf. You might notice variations from left to right, and just offering yourself compassion and curiosity. From here, we might take a plank. So if you're on your forearms, you can take a forearm plank, or if you're on your palms, you could take a high plank. So you can extend the left leg back to meet the right. And if you'd like, you can lower onto the knees for a little bit of support. Go ahead and take some nice deep breaths in any variation of plank that you found. Whenever you're ready, you can lower your knees down and we'll lower onto the belly, coming into Sphinx pose. So for Sphinx, you have your elbows underneath your shoulders. In fact, maybe I'll spin around to the other side. You can see a little better. So you're on your belly with your elbows underneath your shoulders, and you can spread your fingers wide and begin to drag them back energetically as you reach the heart through. This is a nice gentle back bend. You might roll the shoulders up and back down. With your next exhale, let's bring the arms behind us with the palms face up. You can turn your gaze over to the left, allowing the right temple to rest. Softening your gaze. Take a moment to relax all effort, unclenching the glutes, softening the shoulders. Allow yourself to delight in this time of rest. With your next inhale, we'll peel the chest up, reaching the arms back behind us and lifting the feet for locust pose. You can keep a soft gaze here, and you can continue to keep the arms reaching behind you, or you can float them ahead of you. You might take a few rounds, swimming them back and swimming them forward. Continuing to have a soft, gentle breath. Deep belly breaths, filling the back body. We'll do one more round, and then with your next exhale, go ahead and relax all effort with the palms facing up. You can bring the left temple to the mat. And relax all effort. Now, if there are any items beside you, you might clear a little bit of space to your left and to your right. We're going to bring the arms out to form a letter T shape. And then we'll creep the left fingertips over to the left as you roll onto the left side body. Allow the head and neck to relax here. You can leave the legs stacked, or you might bend the top knee and just place the foot behind you. Another option would be to reach down with your right hand and grasp hold of your right ankle and find a gentle quad stretch. But if this is enough sensation with the legs stacked, you might notice a gentle stretch through the chest and the shoulder. Notice where you can soften your effort. And with your next exhale, we'll gently release the top foot if you had the bind. You can roll back onto the belly. And this time, we'll creep the right fingertips behind us as you roll onto the right side, allowing the head and neck to relax. You might just leave the legs stacked, maybe bend the left knee and plant the left foot behind you, or maybe reach down to grasp hold of the ankle with the left hand. Allow the left knee to soften towards the right knee. You can flex the toes up towards the knee to deepen the stretch. Notice if you can soften your effort 10% more. Are there any areas of the body that are working that don't need to effort? And we'll take one more nice deep breath here. With your next exhale, you can roll back onto the belly. We'll bring the palms underneath the shoulders, and you can tuck the toes under and lift up through either plank or table. From here, let's tuck the toes under. You can press the hips up and back for downward facing dog, maybe pedaling the heels, a little side to side, sashaying the hips. And if you ever want to skip downward facing dog, you're welcome to do that. Now we'll walk the feet towards the hands and the hands towards the feet to come into a forward fold. Go ahead and take the arms and wrap them around the opposite elbows. And just allow yourself to gently ragdoll here from side to side. You might shake your head no, and nod your head yes. And then we'll go ahead and release the palms. You can bring the palms to the shins and inhale for halfway lift. I put my block too far away, but another option would be to bring your hands to blocks. Exhaling to forward fold. Inhaling for halfway lift with a flat back. Exhale to forward fold. And let's take one more round. Inhaling for halfway lift. And exhaling to forward fold. On the next inhale, you can bend the knees and roll the spine up gently, one vertebrae at a time. Once you arrive at standing, straighten the legs, inhale the arms up overhead, and exhale to bring the hands to heart center. Let's inhale to reach up tall. Exhale, bringing the hands into the heart. Inhale to reach, and exhale to release. This time, as we inhale, we'll bring the thumbs to hook and spread the fingers wide. And then you can begin to reach over to one side, maybe the right side first. You might look up for a gentle side bend. Inhale back to center and exhale to the other side. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, release, cactus the arms down, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Inhale to reach. And exhale, cactus. You might take a lion's breath, releasing any tension from the jaw. Inhale to reach. Exhale, sticking out the tongue. Open mouth, exhale. We'll inhale to reach and exhale to swan dive it forward. Inhale for halfway lift. And exhale to forward fold. Let's plant the palms and we'll walk the feet behind us. You can lower the knees gently to the ground to come into a tabletop. From here, you can walk the hips back and the arms back towards you to come into a hero's pose. We won't sit here for very long, but you might just enjoy that compression of the top, the ankles. And then with your next inhale, we sweep the arms up overhead, and then we'll step the left foot forward. With your next exhale, let's rotate towards the front knee. So you're turning towards the left, reaching the right fingertips forward and the left fingertips back. Inhale to sweep the arms back up overhead. And then this time we'll exhale to bring the left hand down to the mat or a block and rotate the left arm open for a twist. You can stay just like this, or you might tuck the right toes under and lift the right knee. If your right knee is lifted, go ahead and gently relax it back down to the mat. We'll sweep the left hand down. You can plant the palm and then step the left foot back. Now you're in tabletop. Let's take a rest in between sides in child's pose or down dog, so you can bring the big toes to touch. Walk the knees wide as your mat, and then sink the hips back, walking the arms forward, allowing the forehead to rest. Another variation of this pose, child's pose, could be embryo pose. And all you would do for that, it might help if your forehead is not reaching the mat, to stack the palms and rest the forehead on the back of the palms. Take a few nice deep breaths in your child's pose, relaxing all effort. Let's take a little side bend here so you can walk the hands over to the right, reaching the left arm long. You might turn your gaze to peer underneath your right armpit, resting the temple. Reaching the left fingertips away from the left hip. And then we'll walk it back to center and reach over to the left, reaching the right fingertips away from the left hip. Maybe turning the gaze to peer underneath the left armpit. Allowing the breath to cascade down the side of the body. With your next inhale, go ahead and bring it back to center. Take a nice deep breath in child's pose. And then we'll walk the hands back in, coming back up into a tabletop. And you can sink the hips back to sit in your hero's pose. With your next inhale, we'll float the arms up, lifting up onto the knees for celebration pose. And then you can step the right foot forward for a low lunge. From here, on your next exhale, let's float the right hand behind us, turning towards the right knee. And you might send your gaze back. And then we'll go ahead and lower the left hand down to the mat or to a block. And open the right fingertips up towards the sky. If it felt good on the other side to lift the back knee, you could tuck the left toes under and lift the left knee. On your next exhale, gently lower that knee down to the ground, and we'll float the right hand out in front. And you can plant the palm on the inside of the right foot, and then slide the right knee back to meet the left. And we'll return to a tabletop position. From here, either take your downward facing dog or child's pose. If you're coming into downward dog, you can tuck the toes under, lifting the hips up and back. You might shake your head no, nod your head yes. And if you're in child's pose or downward dog, let's all meet in tabletop. And we'll be coming onto our backs next. So you can come onto your seat. And before we make our way onto our backs, let's press our hands behind ourselves with our our palms stacked underneath our shoulders. And you can have the fingers pointed towards the sit bones. We'll walk the heels in and then inhale to lift up into altar pose. You might send your gaze towards your navel, up towards the sky, or allow the gaze to fall behind you. Whenever you're ready, you can lower your hips back down to the mat, and we'll walk the feet a little bit up in front, reaching the fingers forward. Let's go ahead and take our time to gently roll onto the back, using the strength of the core. And once you arrive onto your back, go ahead and walk your heels in towards your sit bones. And then we'll grasp hold of the back of our thighs, maybe cross the ankles, and gently massage the spine, rocking side to side. It might feel good on your next exhale to draw your nose up towards your knees, just finding a gentle stretch for the top of the neck, the back, the shoulders. And go ahead and exhale to release the head back down. And then you might walk the hands up towards the ankles or the shins or the sides of the feet, drawing the knees towards the armpits for happy baby pose. You might gently here rock side to side, taking a moment to smile warmly upon yourself. You might point your heels up towards the sky. This is basically an upside down squat. Allowing gravity to help us do the work. Now we'll release the feet back down to the mat. You can walk the heels in towards the sit bones with the knees pointing up towards the sky. We'll press the palms next to the hips and then inhale to lift the hips for bridge. Taking a few breaths in bridge, you might like to try a bind by interlacing the fingers behind you and maybe walking the shoulders underneath the body, just allowing yourself to rock side to side. Gently tucking the chin towards the chest, And taking a few nice deep breaths here. Notice if you can drag the heels back towards the sit bones energetically, activating the back of the legs and the hamstrings and the glutes. And then with your next exhale, release the bind and allow the spine to roll down one vertebrae at a time. Now let's walk the heels and the feet as wide as the mat, and you can exhale to allow both knees to fall over to the left. If the feet are wide, you might notice that the right knee is pointing down towards the left foot. We'll inhale to bring the knees back up and exhale to float them over towards the right. Go ahead and take your own time to gently rock from side to side. Maybe you float the gaze in the opposite direction of the knees, allowing the gaze to face up as the knees pass through center. And once you feel complete from left to right, we'll meet in center with the knees facing up towards the sky. And here would be a good opportunity to grasp hold of your strap. We're going to come into figure 4, and there's a couple of different variations that I like to play around with. You might stack 2 blocks if you have them, or if you even have like the edge of a couch, that can be helpful. So I'll show both ways. So if you have 2 blocks, what you can do is bring your left ankle to cross over your right knee. You could stay here if this is enough sensation for your left hip, or you could draw the shape into the body and maybe wrap the strap behind the back of the leg. Or you can even wrap your fingertips. It can be a little bit, you want to be able to soften the top of your body. So that's why I like to use a strap for a little more space. If you wanted to make this even more restful, you could even bring that right heel on top of the blocks, or if you had a couch or a wall, you could bring the right ankle on top of the couch cushion. It just allows you to fully relax the top half of your body. So whatever works best for you, let's find a few nice deep breaths in figure 4. If you're relaxing your top half, you might cactus the arms or just allow the arms to rest at your sides. Start to notice other areas of the body that you might be able to relax any tension from. Is there any effort happening in your face? Could you soften your forehead? Would you relax more with your jaw? And then allow the breath to find those areas of tension or holding. And allow them to soften. Next, we're going to turn this into a little bit of a twist. So if your hands are behind the back of your thigh, you can release the back of your right leg and allow the shape to float over to the right, making sure you don't have anything in your way. And you might land the left foot here and extend the arms out side to side. Maybe it feels good to float the left knee down to the ground and extend the right leg long. Find whichever variation of a twist works for you. If you're if your left foot is planted on the ground, you might even reach down with your right hand to grasp hold of the ankle. It might feel good to give your foot a little gentle massage. And maybe you send the gaze over towards the left fingertips. And with your next inhale, go ahead and release that side. Coming back onto our back, so you can shift your hips back to square. And you might go ahead and inhale just to lift the hips, straightening out the spine, and then exhale to gently lower it back down. Let's take the second side now. So you'll bring the right ankle over the top of the left thigh. And like I said, there was all kinds of variations. So maybe find the same variation that you used. You can either stay here, maybe you weave your hands behind the left thigh, or use a strap. You could also balance your left ankle on top of blocks, or maybe the wall or a couch cushion. And then just notice any subtle variations from left to right. Softening your effort anywhere that you can. And breathing into any areas of tension or holding. And we'll take one more nice deep breath here. And with your next exhale, we're going to turn this into a twist. So releasing the grasp of the back of your thigh. You can float the right foot down to the mat. And then find any variation on a twist that works best for your body. So that might be planting the right foot. You might even like the feeling of reaching down for the ankle with the left hand. Maybe giving your foot a gentle massage right at that area where the ankle meets the foot, on the outside, the top of the foot. But if it feels better, you could allow the right knee to fall towards the mat and maybe extend the left arm long, sending the gaze over towards the right fingertips. Go ahead and take another nice deep breath there before unwinding your twist and coming back to center. Bring the knees in towards the chest. And you can plant the palms on top of the knees and then just start to draw little circles with the knees in one direction, gently massaging the low back. And we'll gently reverse the direction of those circles. And whenever you're ready, we'll go ahead and set up for our final resting pose, Shavasana. So you can drop your feet to the mat, extend the legs long, allow the toes to spread out towards the sides, relaxing the effort. Allow your arms to rest at your sides. And start to scan the body, noticing where you can soften, relaxing the eyelids, releasing the hinge of the jaw, relaxing the shoulders. You might imagine any thoughts that creep in are like fluffy clouds and just allow them to gently pass by, giving yourself this opportunity to rest, trusting that you'll figure out anything you need to sort out later. You might imagine yourself lying on a sandy beach, a warm sun, noticing the impression that your body makes on the earth, and feeling the soft support of the earth rising to meet you where you are. Feeling gratitude for all of the abundance, all of the resources. You can begin to deepen your breath, noticing with each inhale how you can expand the heart center in all directions. Coming back to the intention you set for your practice today. And then go ahead and start to wiggle the fingers and toes, gently rotating the wrists and the ankles to awaken the body. With your next inhale, you might stretch the arms overhead for a long body stretch. And then with your next exhale, you can bring the knees in towards the chest, Roll onto one side, coming into a fetal position, cradling the head with the bicep. Allow yourself to pause here for 2 more rounds of breath. And as you begin to become a little reborn, you can press yourself up into a seat with the strength of your arms. We'll come into Sukhasana, cross-legged position. Let's inhale to reach the arms up overhead. Exhale to draw in all of that energy to the heart center. You can humbly bow your head towards the wisdom of your heart. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your practice with me this morning. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Love you.
So,
Thanks, Micki.